Hey everyone, it's Argonath here from The Right Way. Got a story coming out of New Zealand about how toothless our government departments are because they're all going for a softly approach to people who are menaces to society, which is also a directive from the soft on crime government, and they only think that we have to be soft on people to try and rehabilitate them or make them better people, but it just doesn't work because people just carry on doing whatever they want to do. So let's have a read of this article, just to again highlight the ineptitude and ineffectiveness of this current Labour government and their directives to their government departments. Death threats and abuse. Whangarei pensioners terrorised by gang member Kāinga Ora neighbours. Kāinga Ora is the New Zealand Housing Department, and they provide social housing for people in New Zealand who can't afford it. And basically, if you get a state house, as it's called, you basically pay 25% of whatever income you have as rent, and then the government will top up the rest of that for you. So basically, you're on a very good wicket, as the saying goes, because much better off than anyone else who has to rent in the private sector, where you're paying the full amount for your rent. Although I guess you can get some subsidies from the government as well for that. So anyone who gets a state house should be absolutely grateful they actually get anything, considering they get a roof over their heads. But we can see that people, without any consequences, they just don't give a shit. Two pensioners, so pensioners is, old age people in their 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever it is, claim they fielded death threats from their state housing neighbours, including a Black Power gang member who allegedly threatened to slit an 82-year-old's throat and watch him bleed out. Oh my God. I have no reason to disbelieve what this person is actually claiming, because there have been too many stories in New Zealand about this happening, these sorts of things happening. And though they feel terrorised in their long-time home, the couple say Kāinga Ora is powerless to evict the offending tenants despite a prolonged campaign of intimidation and fear. Police have been called to the Whangarei property about 20 times since the family moved into it earlier this year. The pensioners aged 62 and 82 who live in the neighbouring Kāinga Ora house, so these pensioners are also in a state house, so they have to live next to another person who's in a state house, so they're at breaking point and suffering constantly. So think about that. Police have been called to the property 20 times since the family moved in earlier this year, so sometime in 2021. 20 times. Think about all the times where things have happened where the police haven't been called, right? This is absolutely disgusting behaviour by this trash gang member, and they should be evicted. And who cares if he's homeless, or whoever it is, he or she? Who cares if they're homeless? Don't give a shit if you can't behave nicely in a state house that's given to you. Then you can push off, and we can give that house to another family who will be more deserving and a much better neighbour to these particular people. It's absolutely disgusting. My husband is more scared than me, the woman said. I won't tolerate the fear. I'm a fighter. I will not allow that fear to control me. In response to multiple complaints about the tenants' antisocial behaviour, Kāinga Ora has halved the couple's rent, paid for them to attend weekly counselling sessions, and arranged for a security room to visit the property 5 times a day due to safety concerns, costing the taxpayers more than $5,000. You are absolute idiots, Kāinga Ora. You just need to evict this person, right? The fact that you haven't done it already goes to show that you've been told you're not allowed to evict anyone. Even if you say that this is not the case, it is absolutely the case. Police have served the tenants with a trespass order on behalf of the couple, who have also filed an affidavit detailing the harassment with Whangarei District Court in a bid to have a restraining order served on their unruly neighbours. Emotional and in tears, the woman told the Herald on Sunday the couple had vacated their home and spent the night at the daughter's when the harassment became too intense. That is absolutely disgusting. I cannot believe this is happening. Just imagine if you were in your retirement having to live next to some trash human being like these gang members, and you can't do anything about it, and the state won't do anything about it either. Kāinga Ora had offered to find the couple alternative accommodation, but they did not feel they should be forced to move as a result of their neighbours' behaviour. The woman said Kaingaroa tenancy manager admitted the agency was powerless to evict antisocial tenants due to a directive that protected state housing clients. This has come straight from the government, this lefty, liberal, bleeding heart government. You need to be tough on people, otherwise they won't give a shit to anything you do to them. She was disgusted that people enjoying a taxpayer-funded property could terrorise residents without consequence or fear of eviction. We are now having to leave because my husband's life has been threatened, and she has threatened to kill me. It's appalling. It's a privilege to have one of these homes, and they've just abused the system. Exactly. 1 or 2 times, maybe you'll give them a chance, but 20 times that police have been called out, that's absolutely incredible. We cannot have these kinds of people making their own rules. It's intimidation. The couple have filed a claim against Kaingaroa with the Tenancy Tribunal, but they say they continue to face a daily barrage of harassment, and the woman physically shakes when passing her neighbour's property. The policy to protect the bad tenants at the expense of law-abiding neighbours was perverse and unfair, the woman said. How can the perpetrator get all the perks backwards? We can't keep candy flossing the problem. We want them out. We don't want gang affiliation on our street. The couple's daughter, who was advocating for her parents, said she was worried about their deteriorating mental health. This is another thing. This government always talks about, oh, we have to be kind to everyone. Well, government, Jacinda Ardern, you're not being kind to this particular person, are you? I'm so angry about this. They are not coping, and there is no support for the victims. I just want my parents to live out their retirement in peace. She said a law change was needed to give Kaingaroa the necessary power to deal with antisocial clients who refuse to obey the rules. National leader Judith Collins said the appalling situation was happening right across the country. She blamed a government edict that prevented Kaingaroa from evicting antisocial. Of course, if the tenants know they can't be evicted, then they're not going to change, right? They know they can do whatever they want, and the agencies can't do anything to them. It's meant good people are being forced to live next to gang members and have their lives turned upside down, she said. Kaingaroa needs to evict these tenants who are being antisocial and creating mayhem for their neighbours and everyone else in the community. There are consequences, but the consequences should be felt by the people who create the problem. Kaingaroa denies there is such a directive, but admits evictions are the last resort reserved. This is an extreme case. The police have been called 20 times. Whoever is in Kaingaroa looking at this is an absolute moron, right? Either you're absolutely lying or you're a moron. Whatever it is, it's not good either way. The agency's Auckland and Northland Deputy Chief Executive Caroline Butterworth said it took complaints about disruptive behaviour. No, you don't take it seriously because you haven't done anything to stop the problem. Complaints often involve associates or extended whānau of clients. The agency worked hard to resolve problems and connect clients to help for things like financial pressures or mental health. It hasn't worked. The police have been called out 20 times. While the agency had the legal right to evict tenants, this could result in worse long-term outcomes for clients or their families. Who gives a shit? They're just shitting on your good nature and giving them a state house. Get rid of them. Who cares what they're trash human beings. I don't give a shit about those people. Kaingaroa would prefer to sustain tenancies where possible or find suitable alternative homes for its clients. Just ship them out to a motel somewhere in the WAPs and the backdrops of New Zealand. Whangarei Police Acting Sergeant Christian Stainton said police had responded to multiple calls to the property. Police have interviewed where appropriate, including around enforcing trespass matters, and provided advice around keeping safe. They can't do anything because it's not, whatever they've done is not illegal, right? It's up to Kaingaroa to evict these absolute garbage human beings, gang members. Just get rid of them, evict them. They can go wherever they want, go out to a gang pad somewhere. Who gives a shit? Get rid of them. If they have to live on the street, live under a bridge, I don't really care. They've shat on the goodwill of people in New Zealand by taking a state house from someone else who might be more deserving, and did that. Let me know what you think. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like the video, give it a thumbs down. You're welcome to do that. If you like my content, please subscribe, as it just means other people will find my content, and so will the YouTube algorithm. And hopefully I will catch you in the next video.